We're gonna call the Sullivan property first because they need to get out of here.
I've got everything queued up.
Okay, we're ready to call our meeting to order. Today's May the 10th, 5:45 PM. But could do a roll call, please.
Chairperson Winters,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Here.
Commissioner Davis,
Here.
Commissioner Lance.
Here.
Commissioner Rogers.
Okay. Everyone would stand with me, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has everyone had the opportunity to look at the minutes from April the 12th? Any discussion, any changes?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from April the 12th. Roll call, please.
Vice, excuse me, Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Lance, Chairperson Winters.
Yes, ma'am. First case on our agenda tonight is 3714 Sullivan Avenue. Make sure your microphones are turned on too, please. I noticed watching some of these tapes, some are turned on, some are turned off, and it's hard to hear the full story. Okay. We're back here again this week to get the property in compliance. You give us an update on it, please.
Yes, so I've been by multiple times these past few weeks, monitoring it and seeing the progress that's been made. Progress has been made. Ms. Locklear actually showed me some better pictures today of the property. There's still a few little odds and ends like debris that are out there, open storage. But other than that, it's made, significant improvements. I think that they are definitely on the right track, and once those few little last odds and ends are taken care of, it can be released as long as we can make sure that we're in compliance from here on out, so that way we're not back here again.
Any questions from any of the board members?
No.
Okay,
Make a motion, pass it to the June meeting for update and hopeful final. June 8th. No, I'm sorry. It would be June 14th.
Second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pass this case to June the 14th to make sure the property is in complete compliance, and we'll review it then. And get a roll call, please.
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Lance.
Yes.
Chairperson Winters.
Yes, ma'am. It's good to see you folks again. Thank you for getting cleaned up.
I drove by there today. Me and Mama. That one.
Okay, our next property on the agenda is 5402 Connell Street, and you were to do an inspection on it. Can we get an update, please?
Yes, sir. So, Denny, which is the residential inspector, and myself conducted an interior inspection on Monday, May 8th of 2023. The interior and floor damage, the home would require extensive repair to become suitable for habitation. So looking at the property card, the building value is $84,500. So in order to make those repairs, it can't exceed 30% of that total building value. So that would mean that the repairs need to be made within the $25,000 range. Based upon not only what I saw, but what my residential inspector saw and the chief building official noticed, we do not believe that that will be possible. And that property is also in a flood zone, which means that it's going to have to meet FEMA and TEMA regulations as well.
Looks like the bathtub is broken loose as well.
It's bad. When we walked upstairs, only one of us at a time went up there just
I
for
was
the
gonna say,
simple
I wouldn't-
fact of,
yeah.
I also had the other code enforcement officer with me, and where he stepped, I don't know what fell out of the ceiling, but something fell out of the ceiling. And I was like, hey, be careful, like, that's super soft, and I didn't want him to come through that ceiling, so.
That looks like there may be some wildlife hanging out there.
That, and honestly, I think just after years of neglect and nobody really paying attention to it, water damage is the ultimate reason why it's in the state it's in, and just not caring about it. As we all know, this is the first time I've been in this property on the inside, so it has not been condemned yet. However, I definitely would like to put a placard on so we don't have the same issues from Oakdale that we had before.
Did I hear you say that the gentleman's trying to sell it?
To my knowledge, what I recall from last meeting, yes, sir, that he said that he was looking into selling the property, which, if that's what he wants to do, regardless, it's gonna have to be
Right.
demolished, whether it's him or a new owner.
What does the property owner say? Did he know to be here tonight? Was it?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay,
When I
is
saw,
his choice not to show up, or?
I'm assuming on Monday when I went out there, he was already there when I got there, and he was like, the house is open, just go on in. And I was like, okay. So we went inside to do our inspection. When I came out, I gave him the spill of how it can't exceed, 30% of the total building value. He did not like that from me at all. He informed me that the building value was higher than that, and it indeed is not anywhere on this paper as high as he said it was. But I told him that the meeting was Monday at 5:30, and he said, I plan to be there, and I said, okay. So,
And he, I'm so sorry, so he didn't show up tonight. What steps would we need to do if we did consider condemning it? Consider he wants to sell it, yada, yada, but I'm just thinking of safety.
We still honestly need to go ahead and condemn it now, due to the fact that regardless who owns it,
Right,
it ain't gonna make it,
right.
according to code, so.
I know I was gonna ask.
And if he does sell it, it needs to comply with this International Maintenance Code 107.6.
Yeah.
Notify whoever's purchasing the property that has been condemned and get it in writing.
We're gonna, today, actually, if it passes, this property is condemned, we're gonna have the order ready for you tonight and have it signed. We're gonna go ahead and notify Hamilton County and see if this can't notify them either through the order and have it recorded against the property so that any title search, at a time of sale that will be performed will,
Be known to
reveal
the,
this
yeah,
as,
that's good.
against the property. They may say just a simple phone call, but in any event, we will handle that tomorrow. Ms. Holder and I will contact Registrar's office.
And this is when he owes back taxes. That's where my brain was going. Is that true?
Well, let's see here.
I didn't see it on
here. Connell, I think I've got it. I don't know where I've
I
got
was
it.
just wondering if the
I think
property
that
was
one's
paid
Fountain,
for.
Fountain
Okay.
Avenue. I don't think he owes back taxes. I could be wrong, but
I'm sorry, I don't have one here on that particular property.
Curious if he
It
out
was
and out
on-
owned the home, if it was paid off, taxes up to date, that kind of thing.
I did have one at the last meeting, but I didn't bring it with me. But it wasn't an issue at the last meeting.
I'd like to make a motion that we condemn the house.
oh, well, here's
What'd she say?
the owner.
Come, you're the owner of Connell. 5402? Yes, sir. Just come on up and state your name for the record, please, and,
William Hindy.
okay. We just got an update from Tori on the condition of the house and everything. You were not here to hear it, but is it suffering from water damage, floor damage, and just, lack of anybody taking an interest in it? But do you have anything to add to it? And what are your plans? Last time you were talking about selling the property.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that still your intentions?
Yeah, the neighbor across the street wants to buy it.
Okay. Okay, at the present time, we were entering into a vote, and we've got one motion on the floor to condemn the property. Okay? And that motion is still on the floor.
Second motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that the house be condemned. And could I get a roll call vote, please?
Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Lance.
Yes.
Chairperson Winters.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Now then, we were also talking about International Property Maintenance Code, Chapter 107.6, where you have to notify the buyer that the house has been condemned, okay, and get it signed, and bring codes enforcement a copy of it also, so they're aware that the property has been condemned, and there's, we've had one incident that happened in the past that individual bought a piece of property that had been condemned and they didn't know it, so we're trying to get in compliance, so everybody has to notify everybody. So,
Hey, so if it's been condemned, he can't bring it into compliance himself.
well, he can probably get an estimate and present it to codes enforcement, can he? And,
So ultimately, in the way that I have it from Hamilton County, like I stated earlier, with it being in the flood zone and with the amount of damage that it sustained, the amount that it can't exceed is gonna be 30% of the total building value, which is what Hamilton County has decided and assessed the property to be, which is $84,500. That's the total building. With that being said, 30% of that, it can't exceed $25,350. After reviewing that with the chief building official and residential inspector as well, neither of them feel that that's gonna be made possible due to the amount of damage. However, you're more than willing or welcome to, get a second opinion on appraisal and see if maybe theirs comes in higher. We can relook at the numbers and/or possibly get a contractor out to give an estimate of the cost to fix it. And if it doesn't exceed, then you can continue forward with doing the renovations. If it does exceed, it's gonna have to be demolished, whether it be you or new owners. So,
Okay,
is there any easy way for him to get a copy of this 30%, you know, and without going online and looking? I know it's hard for a lot of these individuals to
I can
go
send that
online.
in the order.
Yeah, and that way yourself or the new property owner will be aware of it and they can just look at it without you digging around on a computer and trying to find a copy of that law.
I can send
Okay.
that.
Well, we wish you the best on it, so they're gonna be posting a sign on it that the house has been condemned. If you wanna proceed with selling it and make them aware of it, fine and dandy, but just need to do it in a timely manner. And if something doesn't happen pretty quick, you know, then it will be taken to the ground, you know, within a certain time frame. So,
talking 60 days, 90 days, what?
Mark?
Well, I think, here's my thoughts. It's condemned now, there's no habitability, but I understand no one's living there anyway, right? Right. But it will have the placard up there stating that the property has been condemned. The city will be willing to give you a little bit of time, but to the extent that that property has nuisance-type activities occurring on it, whether it's, you know, theft, you know, drugs, people sneaking in trying to live, and I have
Oh,
not,
there's none of that.
well, I understand you're telling me that, but just understand that if,
Y'all see any broken windows?
no, what I'm telling you is, if it is found that this is going on, and it may go on tomorrow, it may go on, we don't know, but if, to the extent that they find that's going on, the city will move to initiate self-help efforts to eradicate the nuisance-type activities, and that could be a combination of items, but my recommendation would be put this back on the calendar for June, because it sounds like he's got a buyer, and you know, that's 30 days to close, bring this buyer in and get the intentions of the buyer. It'll give the owner now an opportunity, if he wants to go get an appraisal, you can get your own appraisal. 30 days should be enough. But if none of that is occurring, then you all have the flexibility, the option
Yeah,
to
to
take
move
stuff
forward
out.
on it.
Yeah.
We can't just leave it and let it sit there forever, you know?
I know, but
So, yeah. So,
that's why I was saying 60 or 90 days, you know, July or August.
Well, I would recommend 30 to bring this back and see what efforts you've gotten accomplished, or the new buyer has gotten accomplished with 30 days, not putting it out 60 or 90 days,
Right.
because you're gonna get a situation where the 89th day, they say, oh, well, I just started yesterday, and now you've
Yeah.
lost it. So I'd put it 30 days, go ahead and make a
Okay.
motion to put this on the June calendar, and it stays condemned, and let's see a status at that point. And you all have the flexibility and the authority to make a decision at that time as to how you want to move forward.
okay. And
What, it's,
I'd like to make a motion to bring it back. Sorry, Jeff.
I was gonna say, it's not off the, just because we condemned it, it's not
Right.
off of our
Right,
calendar. I mean, it will still come back at the June meeting.
right.
We still have to make a motion to make sure it does.
No, I should have clarified what I said, put on the calendar. For him to come back
Okay.
and make representations as to what, I'm sorry, not just that it
Okay.
be on a calendar for
Right.
that he should come back, or that the new owner should come back, excuse me.
Okay.
Just give us an update June the 14th, okay? And we'll send you a letter out to that effect. Okay,
But understand that this body has the authority, if you come back in June and the representation is, well, I thought I had a buyer, or I thought I had an appraiser, I'm trying to wait, I mean, this body has the authority, if it makes a determination that this is a condition that has nuisance-like activity, to take the efforts to remove those activities, which could include demolition of the property and just a clearing of it. They've had to do that, and they're in the process of other properties doing that. And so, I tell you that so that you will recognize that by June, you need to come here with information to this body as to what actually has occurred there.
Okay,
thank you, sir. The next property on our agenda is 3607 Fountain Avenue. We have a representative here. Can we give us an update on that property? Have you had any contact with them?
Actually, yes, I did today, so I'm kind of shocked that he's not here, because he informed me that he would be here. I want to say I talked to him last week as well. He informed me that he would be, like last time, in to pull a building permit. I did not see him. He called me today to ask what time the meeting was. I told him 5:30 and that he needed to be here. He did give me an update, however. He met with a contractor, and the contractor is going to come in and essentially replace all the subfloors and the joists just because of water damage, just like on Connell. And then he's also wanting to go in and redo some of the framework, especially up in where the ceiling is. He is aware that he needs to pull permits. However, the contractor gave him an estimated time of June to start due to him being backed up with other houses as well. So he was supposed to be here to let you guys know that today.
Have permits been pulled?
Not yet.
Well,
I know that he has allocated the funds needed. That's what he was waiting on. But also meeting out there with the contractor that he's chosen, he also got a better game plan of what he wanted to do and what needed to be done on the property as well. So,
you said he did obtain the funds he needed to renovate it.
that's
Did
what
show
he
you any
struggled
proof of
with.
that?
I'm sorry.
Did he show you any proof that he had these funds?
I let him know that he needed to be here to tell you guys what was going on.
We've passed this thing, what, 3, 4 times now?
Yeah.
It's been on our agenda. I think that he's never shown up for any of our meetings.
Motion last month was for him to be present here this month.
He hadn't paid any attention to any of the orders that's been sent out to him certified mail. It'd be my recommendation to the board to go ahead and condemn the house and pass it to him.
We did condemn it, I thought.
I don't think so because I never was able to go into the interior. I don't
Approach the
think we
property
scheduled
as
that.
condemned from last meeting.
From
I,
last
ha-
meeting?
I show that as of the last one, the commission found that the property poses a significant threat to the health, safety, and justifying condemnation. The owner has failed to take efforts to remediate, and therefore it deems the property unfit for purposes of human habitation. No person shall occupy the premises until remediation actions have been performed.
Which nobody is there. I guess I read that order backwards. I will go out tomorrow and post a placard then.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said, I guess I read the order backwards. I did not realize that we put that on there. But I will go out tomorrow to post a condemnation placard.
So no one is living there?
No, it's vacant. And nobody can get in. It's boarded up. However, it still stands the way it's been the past couple
What's your
months.
recommendation on this, Margaret? Pass it one day and leave it condemned, or give him one opportunity, or not?
Well, have you, Ms. Holder, you have had personal contact with the owner?
Yes, sir.
Is that in person or telephone?
Telephone.
That is, that owner is Mr. Huff, right?
Yes, sir.
What has he indicated he's willing to do or intends to do?
He intends to repair the house and bring it up to current code, is what he tells me he intends to do.
Is it in the flood zone,
Not that I know of.
not flood? And
He's got 3 years of back tax property, only 3 years unpaid
when's
property
the last one
tax.
paid?
Pardon me?
When's the last, one paid?
2019.
Okay, so it won't come in this year's tax sale, it'll come in the next year's tax sale.
Said that you have not gone the inside of this one yet.
So, I don't have knowledge as to the structural integrity for purposes of demolition. Now, if we had any evidence here of nuisance type activity other than the conditions of the property being, unfit for human habitation, and perhaps that's what we can do is, have we had any arrest or anything, or any theft of anything? What about maintenance of the yard? Obviously, it's condemned for that, but,
I actually think that we may have just issued a post for cleanup citation on it. I'll have to go back and look. Normally, he's pretty good about maintaining that. There's sometimes, it's kind of how it was with the one on Belvoir. We have to send them notice and then they're on it and they maintain it, but I'll go back and look at that.
my recommendation would be, and no one's living in it, right?
No, sir.
I mean, you could,
It's boarded.
order,
At our last meeting, the motion was for it to be condemned and the interior inspected
correct.
I thought that was Connell.
on the avenue, is what I got. Connell also.
Have I been looking at the
I
wrong thing?
had no person shall occupy the premises until a full inspection of the property has been conducted, approving compliance. And, of course, that has not, he's never appeared, he didn't appear last time either.
I have a copy of the order here, if you'd like to have a copy of it, Tori.
Yeah.
I think,
I guess because I was looking off Melissa's notes.
So it sounds to me like we need to, sounds to me like we probably need to leave it condemned and pass
On
it
there,
to June.
just not
Allow
the-
her time to inspect the interior
Yeah, I
and get
mean-
some answers.
order a interior inspection, and if he refuses, then when you come in June, we can have this body order, a warrant for the inspection to occur.
In the minutes. It just says, to post the property is condemned. It says post the property is condemned and set the case for show cause hearing in May.
I wouldn't have made that up. I wrote it down.
It didn't make it to the minutes.
Well,
Oh, and
let's-
That's what
Anyway,
I read.
well,
yeah.
we can do it
reading
now.
Let's
Let's do it.
basically, given the fact that it is boarded, it's secured.
Yeah.
Now, it's certainly an eyesore and is getting it on the path of remediation. I would suggest that you order the inspection and then you come back in June and give a report as to whether that inspection was successful and what you found and then we'll order him to appear. And if he fails to appear, then actions you can take for self-help or mediation with respect to the property.
I'll make that phone call tomorrow.
Listen,
And you will be putting a sign on it, right?
Yes, sir.
Condemned
I'll do that
condemnation.
tomorrow. I'll also make a phone call to him tomorrow to schedule an interior inspection.
I'm surprised that nobody's living, there's such a need for housing. And there's just empty houses that just need to be loved and taken care of, and
Most of them have been landlords before, and they just don't want to rent them anymore. They're burnt out with renters.
sell 'em. Sell 'em, sell 'em.
Okay, are we in agreement on this one now? Okay.
It's clear.
Let's get some eyes on the inside.
Very sorry.
Okay, is there any other business to come before the housing board?
We didn't do a
We
motion
didn't make a
on that.
motion yet.
Oh, do we need to make?
Need a motion on that one.
Okay. And we have a motion on the floor.
I'd like to make a motion to have that interior inspection done and show cause for him to return next month with intentions.
Our next meeting,
Yeah.
My
right?
next meeting, June 10th,
Leave it
14th.
condemned.
Proceed
leave
with
it.
the motion, with the,
Condemnation. June 14th.
Okay. Do we have a
all three of
second?
us did that.
Yeah, I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second
Already had
to
it wrote down.
pass this case to the next meeting and leave it condemned and order an inspection on it. Now then, do we have any other business to come before the housing board?
No, sir.
Okay, we're adjourned.
I guess it passed.
I haven't done my roll call yet on that one.
Put that part in, okay.
So, Vice Chairperson Ezell,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Lance,
Yes.
Chairperson Winters.
Yes. Now we're adjourned. Thank you. And amended